the ideal achievement data. Remember, the vision is not based in reality. It's pie in the sky. It's just if we had a magic wand and we could change the world, what would we want our county to look like? So our task then is to review the current vision statement and revise it as needed. So then you would pass out your vision statement, give people a chance to look at it, and then take any revisions and discuss revisions that they'd like to make. If you are a first-year Alumni County, it's the first, you're actually into year 3 of the coalition. You may not have a lot of revisions here, but after you've been in the coalition, you've been doing this for several years, you may discover that your initial vision wasn't lofty enough. And now as you're seeing kids progress and your percentage of this, and you're starting to address some of your targeted concerns, and your college access and success rates are going up, you may need to make that vision statement a little bit more lofty. So, so something to think about. It's also, very possible that people will say, yep, this was our vision 3 years ago, and it's still our vision today. And you may have no edits. So whatever you want to, whatever direction the group wants to go there is fine. Okay, then the next step is the goals. So you're reminding people that the 3 data fields that you're looking at are the percentage of high school graduates who enter college in the fall, who earn a post-secondary credential, and the percent who have a 2 or 4 year college credential. So your tasks are to review your current goals, and then review updated college access success data, and then revise your goals as needed. In the online system, if you click on goals in the left navigation bar, that's going to bring you up to a report that has your current data in it and also your original data targets. So you can kind of see how you're progressing along there. We've just been in conversations with with the Commission for Higher Ed. They have a new person on board handling their data who totally understands movement development and using using data to drive change. She's 100% understanding the vision to action process and why this data is so important. We had a chance to explain to her some of the frustrations that coalition members have had in the data not including private college data or out-of-state college data in some cases. I think it's going to take several months for her to get this cleaned up, but I'm really hopeful. So, but we are entering data like we have been, the Indiana public school data, for this final time, and then a year from now when we do it again, we hope everything that you need will be there. So I was very pleased with that conversation. Okay, so, I'm sorry, then the tasks are to review your current goals, review the updated access and success data, and then to revise your goals as needed. A lot of times coalitions will discover that their original goals were too lofty, too ambitious, and they might want to pull back a little bit, or maybe you weren't ambitious enough in your original goals and now you need to beef them up. We talked to one county, it was Perry County, a couple weeks ago, and they actually surpassed their goal, their target, so now they need to move their target up. So that was pretty cool. Okay. Then the next step, the next part of the strategic plan to talk about are the targeted concerns. You're reminding people that targeted concerns are the areas that interfere with your goals. So they could be academic concerns that kids aren't prepared for success in post-secondary. They could be student choices, which is all the learn more data that kids aren't submitting a FAFSA or talking to their parents about college or whatever. Or it could be an environmental factor that kids are incarcerated or they're victims of child abuse or whatever. But so you're pouring through data, new data, and then you're deciding, are our targeted concerns still our targeted concerns, or are there different areas that we want to look at? So normally it takes a county more than 1 year to address a targeted concern. I think a lot of times in the second year, the member organizations the light bulb goes off that, we're not going to drive this area, this data area, unless we're all working on the same thing. So, so a lot of times, especially if it's, it's a third year or a second year county, we won't see that targeted concern data drive in the beginning. And so, it's people won't make any changes at all in their targeted concerns. But after a while, you'll start to successfully have addressed those targeted concerns, and then it makes sense to move away from the ones you've already fixed and move on to areas, new areas that you could address. So the task then with your group is to review the current targeted concerns, and then to review the new student data reports. So those are the new Learn More survey data is up there. And then to just revise your targeted concerns as you need to. Okay, so that's targeted concerns. This actually, of all the parts that we've talked about so far, I think that the vision part is going to go really fast. I think that your goals part will probably go really fast. If not, I would keep that discussion moving along, because this is where you're going to want to spend your time to really have time to dig into that Learn More survey data and discover are there other areas that are begging for your attention more than your current targeted concerns. This is also a place to have a kind of an honest discussion with your member organizations that if y'all are just doing lip service about these targeted concerns and you're not really joining forces to address them, chances are those targeted concerns are not going to go away. So if the data has not improved in these targeted concern areas, that may be a sign to you that you really need to talk about, okay, gang, of the 30 organizations that are at this meeting, are we really all committed to these targeted concerns? And collectively, are we all going to roll up our sleeves and do whatever we can, change our programs, add new activities, to really make sure that we're all giving the same messages and we're all, really hitting it with these targeted concerns. We know from experience that if all of your member organizations are going in different directions, you're not going to fix anything because everybody's scattered. But if you can all focus on the same thing, that's when you'll start to see a difference. So, okay, this is probably the most important discussion. Then the last part is just to say, okay, in preparing for our August meeting, now that we know what those targeted concerns are and we're all committed to hit them this year, what is your organization going to do to address those targeted concerns? So go back, talk to your colleagues, your president, whoever you need to talk to, and really have a discussion at home about what can your member organization do, because it really needs to be all 30 of our organizations that are working on this thing. So, and then important, bring these ideas back to our August meeting. So that's, that's their homework, is to bring those ideas back. And then, so there's also an activity, a document online of activity ideas. You may or may not want to use that, but I find it helpful just to give people ideas of what they could be doing. Doing. Also, I would remind people that there's an activity search tool online. So you could they could go in and say, I want to search for activities around FAFSA completion, and I want to see what other public libraries are doing or what other mayor's offices are doing. And then all those activities will pop up. There's about 2,000 activities from different coalitions around the state now in that database. So, chances are you're going to find one that would be similar to the things that you're trying to address in your county. So, so this slide is just showing them where to get to that activity search. So they would just, go to the public website. They don't even have to log in. Click on activity search, and then this is where they can enter the type of activity they are, and then you can see at the top there. Let's see if I move the cursor. Yeah, up here is where they would put in, FAFSA completion or you know, whatever it is, whatever your targeted concern is up there, a keyword from your targeted concern, and then the type of activity, and then just hit the search button and those will pop up. So we also want to remind people that, and I'll get this updated and uploaded, the College Go Week is happening in September. So here are some suggested activities for College Go Week. You know, sponsoring a college application day, getting kids on campus, having a college fair at the high school, having kids do the Drive of Your Life career exploration game, doing an ACT or an SAT prep class, or having a career fair for elementary kids. Oh, speaking of elementary kids, this year in the survey data, we also did an elementary survey. So for the first time, you're going to see how elementary kids are making choices or not making choices in areas that, that open up college access and college completion. Okay, also just reminding people as they're planning their activities for the year that they might want to also look at activities for Cash for College. So there's some suggestions for those. And then Know How to Go will be in August, and they can also put activities in for that. And that actually, that campaign name has changed, and I'll get that updated as well for when you use it. Okay, then we're just wanting, the next one is we're just wanting to remind people of when your meeting dates are for the year. We think it's important to get everything scheduled for the whole year right up front, so that they can work all their other meetings that they're invited to around your meeting. So I'd nail all those meeting dates right up front. And then that's it. So yeah, so just a reminder, let's go real quickly on the online system. Let me log in real fast. So you're going to Learn More Indiana /CSC. Took out the G. There we go, /CSC. And then from the coalition website, you're logging in as a steering team member. And I'm just putting in demo 123 to get me to demo county. I think I typed that right. Yep. Okay, so in the manual, when you go in, the Alumni Manual will automatically pop up. So in the manual, here are your handouts. And so the PowerPoint that we just showed, I'll upload it this afternoon, and I'll update it this afternoon and get it in right here. So this is where you get to that PowerPoint. If you want to have a worksheet to hand to your members where they could start planning out their activities, this is a worksheet for that. Here's the member activity ideas. And then here is a kind of a longer version of the member activity ideas with descriptions of the activities. And then if you wanted to have a handout for the member meeting dates so that they could take that home with them, you've got that as well. So those are the tools for this time. And just a reminder that in all of these places you can go to, I'm sorry, in all of the different versions of Vision Action, you can go to the process page to know what to do. When you log in, you'll hit the Alumni tab. That takes you to your steps for what to do in July. And when you log in, these will all be hot. Right now, Demo County is logged in, is set up as a first-year county, but when you log in, these will all be hot. So if you are updating anything, you can just hit the entry button. That will take you to the enter edit page for whatever you're updating and stick it in there. And then also, don't forget to submit these things to Debbie Howell, our new strategic planning specialist. So you just click on the submit. That'll give Debbie a flag that you're ready for her to look at your work. And then she'll send you feedback, and just a reminder, her feedback here will come with the feedback tab. We are committed to giving you feedback within 48 hours. I know that in the past year that did not happen. With Debbie on board, we know that that is going to happen. Debbie is highly committed to getting you that feedback within 48 hours. And if that's something that starts to not happen, please let us know. I don't anticipate that that's going to be an issue at all this year. As you may remember, Debbie was a member of the Jay County Coalition before she came to work here, and she understands how important that feedback is and how important it is for you to have it immediately within 48 hours. So you'll get that. We would love for all of the alumni coalitions to end the year in good standing. That would mean that you've submitted each of the submissions for this year, and that and that Debbie has reviewed them and that they meet criteria. So our goal is that each of our alumni coalitions will be in good standing at the end of the year. And that means you need to submit things, and it means that we will review them and give you feedback so that if there's some issue you can resubmit. So we're hoping and in discussions about providing some more perks for alumni counties that stay engaged. We know that that's really difficult to stay engaged as an alumni county when you have less contact with us, which is why we wanted to do these webinars once a month. So we're hoping to be able to provide some perks. We're in discussions for some things coming up, and I think it will be in your best interest to be in good standing at the end of the year if everything I hope it happens like I hope it will. I can't say anything right now, but we're hoping that there will be some perks later. So your last perk was you went through the funding to get started, and then the road sign, and then the summits with the commissioner coming to your county to meet with your members. We'd like to get another perk in there too for alumni counties that continue to sustain. So, okay, so I think that's kind of it. I think we've been through everything. I'm going to look real quickly, see if any hands are up. We can unmute people. This is Pick on Sarah Day. Sarah, I'm going to unmute you one more time and ask you a question. Sarah, are you there? Sarah?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did any of this, did it make sense? Were there parts where maybe I confused people that you think I need to look at again? Putting you on the spot, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah? Okay, sorry, I'm having problems with my headset microphone thing.
Oh, okay.
I know one thing that I had talked with Debbie previously when she came to Lawrence County and met with me was to do when having your members go on and enter their activities. We had talked somehow, I don't know if she had talked to you about this, about doing a form that was like every form was the same. You just had to enter it differently depending on the activity, so that it was easier for members, especially members who are very busy. Like, we have our mayor on board. She's extremely busy, where it'd be something that wouldn't be so time-consuming, which would also be really easy for all coalition members across the state to use. So it would be like a universal sheet kind of thing that you could fill out, that you could even people could print and could give to, like Molly and I, since we're the co-chairs of the Lawrence County Coalition, okay, and that we could then just enter in very easily. Okay. Do you know if that is something that you see that we could possibly do?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to take a stab at it. It might be a multiple page form because I know right, there's just so much information there. And then somebody else then would have to do the data entry. We've done that with another initiative, and it's ended up being pretty cool. In another initiative, there was a group that decided that they wanted to do a paper survey instead of a online survey. But then what they did was they made it a service project for one of the Boy Scout troops to sit down and do all the data entry. So that this might be something that's real doable. Yeah, we'll take a stab at it. I like the idea. I think Debbie's in and listening too, so Debbie, we'll talk about getting that done. Good. One other thing before I move from Sarah, any other questions?
No, I think everything else that you explained was good.
Okay, yeah, I love the suggestion. Judy, I see your hand up. I'm going to mute Sarah again. Let me show you one other thing before we get to Judy. On the Members tab, also wanted to show you that you have this tab called, this section called Manage Member Organizations. So if I click on that, that's going to bring up all of my member organizations. And just a reminder that you can resend the setup link if they didn't get the initial email with how to get their username and password set up for their member organization. You can also edit the contact. You can edit activities. Sometimes groups like to use this, like if everybody has used lowercase letters and for some reason the Boy Scout troop entered everything in uppercase letters and it just makes your reports look silly, or if somebody's misspelled something and you don't want any of your reports to have misspelled things in them, you can go in and edit their activities. After they've entered progress reports, you can also edit there too. The reason I wanted you to see this is when you get your member organizations at your meeting in July, and you're saying to everybody, okay, let's all get online and let's all, edit the activities that are already in there or delete them if you're not doing them anymore or add new activities. Probably the first, if you haven't been doing this, the first time you do it, probably half the room's going to raise their hands and say, I don't have my username and password. So if that happens, when they log in, let me go to a different browser. I'm going to a different browser because remember you cannot be a steering team member and a member organization at the same time, and because it saves cookies, because of the cookies that are saved in your computer. So when your member organizations log in, if they can't remember their username and password, they're going to go here, member organization login. When they go to log in, there's this little thing right here that says forget your username and password. They can just click that, and our system will send their contact person a link where they can go to reset their username and password. Now, the problem's going to be is what if the person at your meeting is not the contact person? They could click that as many times as they want to, but the email is going to go to the contact person who's not at the meeting. So a workaround on that is, let's say that Jason Stout is the contact person here, but Jason Stout's not the person at your meeting. What you can do is very quickly go in for them through your system, change the contact person to whoever is at the meeting with their email address, and then save it. Then they can click the send me a new password and it will come to them. Then at the end of the meeting, you can go back in and change this back to Jason Stout. It's just a temporarily you're going to change the contact person so that the person at your meeting can get a username and password. That person, of course, would need to go back to their organization and tell, in this case, Jared Stout, that that he had changed the username and password. So it's also just kind of, it's so important to tell people, make sure you know your username and password before you come to the meeting. If you've forgotten it, here's, where you can click to get it. Or if you're really stuck, call me and we'll help you, get it reset. Another thing, if you think there's going to be a lot of questions about getting these username and passwords set, and you're feeling a little shaky about your command of the online system, another thing you might want to do is ask Debbie if she'll be on call. So she would just be available so that if you get stuck in the middle of the meeting as people are trying to enter their activities, you can just quick call Debbie and she'll be there at the phone, on call, waiting in case you have any issues. When I'm presenting and it's something that I'm not familiar with, I'll do that. I'll put our staff on call in case I get stuck. I can quick call and say, okay, now how does this work? So okay, so just wanted to show you that. Okay, let's get to Judy. Judy, question, comment. And Judy, I'm not hearing you. Judy. I'm showing Judy active and listening, but I'm not hearing. Judy, another thing you could do is type your question into the questions or chats. That would be possible. Okay, well, I don't know if Judy, if you want to send me an email afterwards, I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments that you have. Okay, anyone else? Okay, that sounds good. So our plan is to have these webinars, then there'll be 4 of them, one before um, each of your meetings, and I'm trying to look real quickly. Let me pull up, go to webinar. I can't get back, or can I? Nope. I'm not sure when we'll set the next one. It will be the first week of August. I don't think we've given you a date yet. Sarah, I'm gonna pick on you again. Get ready. Here we go. Sarah, I'm not seeing where I've given everybody a date for the next webinar. Are you seeing a date?
No, I haven't seen a date.
Okay. We have not set our calendar yet for 14-15. We're going to do that later this week. So we'll let you know as soon as that's available. It will be the first week in July, and my guess is it probably will be July 3rd, but don't hold me to that. I'm sorry, I said July, August. It probably will be August, the first Thursday in August. So
The 7th, would that be the 7th, Susan?
let me look here. That would be, yeah. Matter of fact, and this seemed to be a good time for everybody. We had a good participation here. Let's just tentatively set it for August 7th at 10 o'clock. You might want to put a question mark after that on your calendar, and then we'll get that firmed up this week and get it to you at the end, or at the end of the week. And then if we're sticking with that, then the first Thursday in, let's see, first Thursday in December would be the next one, and then the first Thursday in May would be the one after that. So, okay.
Susan,
yeah.
Susan, kind of a heads up. I know the IYI Because Kids Count conference is the first week of December. I believe it's the 2nd and 3rd, so it would not interfere, but that might be something you want to consider.
Yeah, we put all those on the calendar before we schedule, so we try to schedule around everything. But yeah, if you notice issues like that, please feel free to jump in. So let's see real quickly. Okay, good. Oh, here's Judy's question. Good. So Judy's saying, I don't know if when will we know whether Teresa Lubbers is able to come to our county this fall? We submit an application in early June. Actually, we haven't announced this yet, so your application, you must have been using last year's application because that's not out yet, but that's good. You've got it in, and the application will be the same, so not a problem. So we literally just signed our contract with Learn More last Friday. So we now are a go for everything for next year. There will be 4 summits in the fall and another 4 in the spring, so that's all definite. So that's, as we're getting things set up and ramping up for 14-15, we'll get information out about that right away. And how that will work is we will have blocked out on Commissioner Lubbers' calendar like 8 different days, and then in the application we'll say which of these days could you host a summit, and then you'll indicate all the days that are available. Then when we get all the applications in, it's a competitive application, of course. We'll identify the 4 that are the strongest, and then we'll work on the dates and getting the commissioner around the state. It's a little tricky on the dates part, so that's why we need you to really, when you fill out the application, to be firm on that. We can talk more about that in our August webinar, but that's how that will work. And the other thing that just one of the things that we look at big time in that application, because it's a competitive application, is really looking at counties that are in good standing, that their steering teams are active, they've updated their strategic plan, their member organizations are filling out their progress reports. It's really an active and vibrant county. Yeah, so good. My guess is we'll get that information out to everyone later this month, and we'll probably have a deadline first week in August, second week in August for the applications, and then we'll let you know immediately, like the day after the deadline, which counties have been selected. So, okay, any other questions? I'm not seeing any other hands up. So great. I'm hoping that this has been helpful. I'm really looking forward to having more contact with the alumni counties this year, both through these webinars, but also especially through Debbie's work. We're really focusing on alumni counties this year. We want to do everything that we can do to make it easier for you guys to sustain. So anybody has any questions about doing a 5K? It's a great fundraiser. So just contact Sarah in Lawrence County after that, and after this, and maybe that's something too that we can add to these webinars, is just kind of do a little show and tell for county to county. So matter of fact, let's definitely do that. In August, you might be thinking about something that you can share from your county that might be helpful to the other counties. So okay, that sounds great. Thank you everybody for participating. My apologies again for starting late, and thank you for hanging in while you're waiting for us. We really appreciated that. We typically start these right on time, so this was unusual for us. So, okay, thanks everybody, and I did record this, so if there's other people that want to hear this after the fact, we'll archive this and put it on the website so that folks can listen to this conversation as well, and watch the webinar. Okay, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to everyone in August. Thanks.